July 8, 1941. At the German Navy headquarters in Berlin, a routine encrypted dispatch arrived from one of its U-boats patrolling the North Atlantic. The signal, seemingly mundane, was crafted on a machine the Germans held in near religious awe. The Enigma, a marvel of engineering and mathematical ingenuity, produced hundreds of trillions of potential combinations through its constantly shifting rotors. To those who operated it, Enigma was infallible, a fortress of secrecy. The message moved through Germany's command channels, deciphered on a sister machine, and filed away. It contained nothing extraordinary: convoy locations, weather reports, and routine patrol updates. Yet far across the English countryside, at a quiet estate called Bletchley Park, another man read the same dispatch in plain German. By the summer of 1941, Britain's codebreakers were effectively reading the minds of the German Navy, almost as fast as Admiral Karl Dönitz himself. Remarkably, through the entirety of the war, and until Germany's surrender in 1945, the Germans never suspected a breach. Not once. This is the tale of the Second World War's most astonishing intelligence oversight. It is a story of a nation of brilliant engineers, mathematicians and military minds who placed unwavering trust in mathematics, only to overlook the simplest possibility: their correspondence was being read by the enemy. To understand how such a monumental misjudgment occurred, we must trace back nearly a decade, to Poland in 1932. At that time, Europe was uneasy, yet not at war. The German military had adopted the Enigma machine, a compact commercial cipher for military communication. Its design was elegant: 3 rotors, each with 26 electrical contacts corresponding to the alphabet. Each keystroke shifted the rotors, producing a constantly evolving substitution cipher. On paper it seemed impenetrable, but at Poland's Cipher Bureau, 3 young mathematicians, Marian Rejewski, Jerzy Różycki, and Henryk Zygalski, refused to believe any code was beyond human comprehension. Using intercepted messages, abstract mathematics, and crucial intelligence provided by a French spy, Rejewski reconstructed the internal wiring of Enigma. By 1933, he could decipher German military communications using a mechanical device of his own invention, the Bomba Kryptologiczna, or bomb. For 7 years, Poland read German military traffic in secret. When war loomed in 1939, the Poles anticipated the fall of their nation and the potential loss of their work. In July of that year, they handed over their reconstructed Enigma codebooks and methods to British and French allies at a secret meeting near Warsaw, a single act that would make Bletchley Park's eventual triumph possible. When Germany invaded Poland that September, the Polish codebreakers fled, yet their discovery traveled west. A select group of British mathematicians, linguists, and chess enthusiasts began building on this foundation. The British government transformed Bletchley Park, a quiet estate north of London, into the epicenter of an unparalleled intelligence operation. Among its recruits was a young Cambridge mathematician, Alan Turing. Turing took Rejewski's concepts and engineered a faster, automated machine, also called the bomb, capable of testing thousands of Enigma settings per minute. By late 1940, these machines, often operated by women of the Women's Royal Naval Service, decoded messages on a daily basis. Initially, this success was limited to Luftwaffe and Army transmissions. The German Navy, however, presented a far more complex challenge. Their Enigma included an additional rotor and stricter key protocols. U-boats were sinking British shipping at an alarming pace, pushing the nation to the brink of starvation. In May 1941, fortune favored the Allies. The U-boat U-110 was attacked and forced to surface. Its crew abandoned ship, unaware of the treasure left behind. British sailors boarded and seized the Enigma machine and codebooks intact. These materials unlocked the naval Enigma for the first time, and from that moment, the tide of the Atlantic War shifted. Each night, British intercept stations captured streams of German Morse transmissions. These were telegraphed to Bletchley Park, where hundreds of analysts silently transformed strings of letters into actionable intelligence. Every decoded dispatch revealed convoy instructions, U-boat rendezvous points, minefields, and even personal concerns of officers at sea. This intelligence network was codenamed Ultra, the most tightly guarded secret of the war. Known only to the highest echelons of command, Churchill himself later remarked, "It was thanks to Ultra that we won." Despite mounting losses, the Germans never suspected a breach. Dönitz, commander of the U-boat fleet, attributed failures to radar, superior Allied aircraft and chance, not to compromise communications. His wartime diaries meticulously recorded technological and operational setbacks, yet contained no hint that their codes had been deciphered. There were warnings, subtle yet unmistakable. After U-110's capture in 1941, Captain Ludwig Stumpfegger conducted an internal review. He identified procedural errors that might have jeopardized security, yet concluded that the enemy could not possibly break Enigma. Its combinatorial complexity made that impossible. 2 years later, Swiss intelligence sent Berlin a report highlighting suspiciously precise Allied countermeasures. Dönitz dismissed it, convinced the Enigma cipher was invulnerable. Meanwhile, at Bletchley Park, the war of logic continued unceasingly. By D-Day in 1944, the British were decoding approximately 5,000 German messages per day. Ultra-intelligence guided convoys, uncovered troop deployments, and revealed hidden minefields. In an intricate web of deception, the Allies even fed false information back through controlled channels, culminating in the success of the Normandy invasion. Absolute secrecy was paramount. Only a select few knew Ultra's true source. Reports were carefully sanitized, attributed to reconnaissance or captured documents. Convoy successes were credited to luck. Destroyed U-boats were explained by radar or superior tactics. The secrecy was so effective that even after the war, the Germans remained oblivious. Upon surrender in May 1945, Allied interrogators asked captured officers whether they believed their communications had been compromised. Their answer was almost universally the same: no. For nearly 3 decades, the truth remained hidden. Bletchley Park personnel, bound by the Official Secrets Act, remained silent. Their work went unrecognized, even by family members. Then in 1974, British officer F.W. Winterbotham published The Ultra Secret, revealing for the first time that the Enigma had been cracked. The news astonished the world and the Germans. Admiral Dönitz, then 83 and living near Hamburg, initially refused to believe the revelation. Confronted with the evidence, he fell silent for a long moment, reportedly murmuring, "Then everything we did was for nothing." In 1978, at a conference in Germany, former German officers met for the first time with Allied codebreakers from Bletchley Park. The reunion was polite, yet heavy with emotion. The Germans were incredulous at how such a vast operation had remained undetected, while the British expressed admiration for the discipline and brilliance of those they had outwitted. Historians later assessed Ultra's profound impact. Sir Harry Hinsley, the official historian of British intelligence, concluded that decrypting Enigma shortened the war by 2 to 4 years. Without it, the Battle of the Atlantic could have been lost, D-Day delayed, and millions more lives sacrificed. To the Germans, what had seemed their greatest strength, their faith in mathematics and technology, had become their ultimate vulnerability. The Enigma machine itself functioned flawlessly. Its mathematics were sound. What failed was the German conviction that its design rendered it untouchable. The magnitude of this failure extended far beyond the loss of ships or sailors. It was a collapse of imagination. The Germans conducted repeated inquiries into potential breaches, yet each time they concluded that Enigma was mathematically impregnable. Risk was assessed theoretically, never empirically. When U-boats vanished shortly after transmitting their coordinates, commanders sought radar or mechanical faults, not compromised ciphers. When convoys altered their paths away from patrol zones, it was dismissed as coincidence. The notion that every signal might be read by the enemy seemed preposterous, never subjected to serious testing. The British, however, drew a different conclusion. No system, however sophisticated, was invulnerable. They approached Enigma not as an impenetrable barrier, but as a puzzle laden with hidden patterns. Their triumph rested not solely on machines, but on the minds of mathematicians, linguists and clerks, who merged logic with creativity, patience with intuition. At its peak, Bletchley Park employed nearly 9,000 people, roughly 80% women. Most labored in isolation, often unaware of the larger picture. Some monitored the bomb machines through long nights, listening to the constant whir of rotors. Others translated decrypted messages, carefully typing them onto flimsy paper, before securing them in envelopes stamped "Most Secret." Analysts, like Mavis Batty, achieved breakthroughs that shaped naval battles, her 1941 decryption of Italian naval messages contributing to victory at Cape Matapan, yet none could speak of their deeds for decades. Ultra's effectiveness depended on silence. Any leak could have prompted the Germans to change their ciphers, nullifying the advantage. To protect this secrecy, Allied planners sometimes made harrowing choices, allowing attacks to proceed, knowing that intervention would reveal the breach. The calculus was cruel but necessary, sacrificing a few to save thousands. In this sense, Ultra was both a triumph of intellect and a study in moral restraint. Those with knowledge could not act freely. Intelligence and conscience were constantly in tension. After the war, many returned to ordinary lives, their contributions hidden even from family. Only decades later did historians fully appreciate their role in shaping modern intelligence. The public revelation of Ultra in the 1970s forced historians to reassess nearly every major World War II campaign. What had appeared as luck or tactical brilliance was often rooted in intelligence from Bletchley. The sinking of the Bismarck, successes in North Africa, and the neutralization of U-boats all bore the unseen imprint of these codebreakers. For the Germans, the revelation provoked introspection. Archives revealed that several officers had suspected anomalies. Signals officers noted instances where Allied forces seemed to anticipate their moves. Some mathematicians within German cipher offices proposed that procedural errors might have exposed patterns, but their warnings were dismissed. The reasoning was circular. Since Enigma was mathematically secure, any evidence of compromise had to be coincidental. This reflects a deeper failure, the inability of institutions to question entrenched assumptions. German intelligence had brilliant personnel and advanced tools, yet skepticism was absent. Analysts operated within a rigid hierarchy, dissent discouraged. In contrast, Bletchley Park nurtured unconventional thinkers. Eccentricity was almost a prerequisite. Mathematicians, poets, chess masters, and crossword enthusiasts worked side by side, driven by curiosity rather than rank. That intellectual freedom proved decisive. The Enigma story is thus not merely about cryptography, it is about the psychology of certainty. The Germans worshipped precision, the British exploited imperfection. By 1945, the consequences were staggering. 783 U-boats destroyed, 30,000 submariners dead, 3/4 of the U-boat fleet eliminated. Losses recorded by Dönitz as the result of radar or aircraft were often, in reality, guided by ultra-intelligence. Even when U-boats changed tactics, their communications betrayed them. Enigma did not fail them. Their faith in it did. Ironically, the Germans maintained their own signals intelligence unit, B-Dienst, which had early success decrypting Allied traffic. Yet even while intercepting enemy messages, they never considered the possibility that the Allies were doing the same. When B-Dienst lost access to Allied communications later in the war, they assumed discipline had improved. Not that British cryptographers had outpaced them. After 1945, Western intelligence agencies absorbed the lessons of Bletchley Park. Cryptography entered a new era. Electronic computers, inspired by machines designed to attack Enigma, emerged. Principles of computing, automation, pattern recognition, and algorithmic logic trace their origins to those wooden huts in Buckinghamshire. Alan Turing's theoretical contributions laid the foundation for modern computer science. The operational lesson was equally profound. Ultra demonstrated that intelligence could shape entire wars, not merely informing commanders, but granting near-omniscient awareness. It also revealed that secrecy is a weapon and a burden. Ultra's power relied on German ignorance, preserved at tremendous moral and human cost. When Dönitz finally confronted the truth in the 1970s, the human cost became clear. For decades he had studied his war diaries, believing defeat was due to material odds. In truth, he had been outthought, not outbuilt. The U-boat fleet's bravery and sacrifice had been rendered moot by invisible, relentless intelligence. Enigma became a case study in analytic failure. How could an entire command structure ignore compelling evidence? Institutional psychology offers the answer. When beliefs are collectively reinforced, contrary data disappears. Dönitz's subordinates dared not question the premise of Enigma's invulnerability. Investigations yielded only conclusions that conformed to expectation. The Allies took meticulous steps to mask Ultra's success. Every victory had a parallel explanation: radar, reconnaissance, or chance. Some missions were even staged to reinforce these illusions. German misconceptions were continuously validated. Their own logic trapped them. By the late 20th century, historians viewed Enigma not simply as a wartime episode, but as a paradigm of information warfare. The struggle between belief and evidence, secrecy and exposure, continues in modern intelligence. Encryption remains a contest between codemakers and codebreakers. Yet the real battle is cognitive. Enigma offers three enduring lessons. Technical perfection does not ensure security. Human vigilance is paramount. Secrecy carries moral weight, often demanding silence even from the deserving. And intelligence, though invisible, can shape history as decisively as any weapon. By the 1990s, most Bletchley Park veterans had passed. Their legacy endures in computers, encrypted communications, and intelligence agencies worldwide. The Germans never knew during the war. Many never learned afterward. History now records what they could not see. The greatest battles of World War II were fought not only on land, sea and air, but in the realm of the mind, ultimately. The Enigma affair is not simply a story of triumph or failure. It reflects the nature of knowledge itself. The Germans possessed the finest technology, but failed to question assumptions. The British had fewer resources, but succeeded because they doubted. In intelligence, as in science, progress begins where certainty ends. The war of machines became above all a war of minds, where belief was the deadliest weapon and confidence the gravest vulnerability. The Germans never knew. And that ignorance, more than any Allied weapon, shaped the outcome of the Second World War.